The stories you are about to see are real. The rewards up to $5 million are real. This is Crime Reports and Rewards with Griff Griffin and Dave Michaels, where you stay anonymous, the criminals don't.
Sergeant Glenn Ron of the Richmond County Sheriff's Office sent this in to Crime Stoppers. On 12/10 at approximately 2010 hours, deputies received a call to a person being shot at a residence on the 2300 block of Wheeless Road. Upon arrival, it was found that a 33-year-old white male had been grazed by a projectile that was fired through the door of the residence from an unknown suspect outside. The victim was taken to GRU Hospital where he was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Investigators are working to identify the suspect in this case. This appears to be an isolated incident and is possibly drug-related. The incident is still under investigation and no further information is available at this time. If you know who or where this shooter may be, please call the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or text your tips to 803-441-8744, where you remain anonymous and unshot. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office needs your help finding 3 black males who shot 25-year-old Travis Charter on London Boulevard near Amsterdam Drive around 5 p.m. Sunday. Charter told deputies he went to a home to meet a female friend, but instead was confronted by 3 black males who took his watch and ran. He said when he chased after them, one of the 3 black males fired several shots with one round hitting him in the arm. This may have been a robbery setup, with the girl being the bait to lure a robbery victim into the trap set by the 3 black male armed robbers. Tomcatting around is the #1 way good guys get killed. Date robbery setups are a rapidly growing trend that are happening all over the world, with many happening in the U.S. Here's just a few of the headlines around the U.S. Man shot in robbery allegedly set up by woman he dated. Police, robbery was set up. Rutland Herald Online. Drake set up for robbery by a date. Power 98 WPEG. Date turns deadly during botched robbery attempt, lured by a female. 4 people arrested after date robbery set up. Man in Tampa robbery set up, killed by intended victim. Man shot during alleged robbery set up in South LA, KTLA. If you know anything that can help police find these 3 armed date setup robbers, please call the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or text your tips to 803-441-8744, where you remain anonymous and unshot. A $10 counterfeit bill was spotted at the Waffle House near Outdoor Steakhouse in Augusta. The signs it was counterfeit were the lower right-hand corner 10 has metallic gold, but it was dull. When held under a light, no holograms appeared. The first 2 letters of serial number were FD, so other 10s starting in FD may be counterfeit also. There is no magnetic strip. Counterfeit bill detector pen was printed on it to make it look like it had already been verified as a real $10 bill. The bank confirmed it was counterfeit. Counterfeiters will try to take advantage of the busy Christmas season, hoping you and cashiers won't check as closely on the bills you accept, so they can pass millions in counterfeit over the Christmas season rush. If you see any more funny money, please call the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or text your tips to 803-441-8744, where you remain anonymous and keep real cash.
And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
On your mark, get set, go. The holidays have arrived. What could go wrong? According to the latest crime statistics, plenty. Although visions of holiday happiness dance in your head, other things are dancing in the heads of many you come into contact with over the holidays. The first thing that typically happens on holidays is that things can be stolen from your car, and sometimes the things stolen may even be you. A rash of car break-ins has already broken out this year that may break all records. Here's a look at leading-edge security film that can help prevent smash and grabs or you being carjacked in your car.
Every day, all over the world, thousands of people become victims to carjackings and smash and grab attacks. A thief with a rock can shatter glass, gain access to your vehicle, and empty its contents in less than 5 seconds. Car alarms don't deter break-ins. Usually, valuables are gone before anyone hears the sound of an alarm or of breaking glass. These attacks can occur anytime, even when you're stopped at a busy intersection. They can be exceptionally frightening if you are in your vehicle when the glass breaks. The victims are usually women, but often thieves will strike even if there is more than one person in the car. Protect yourself and your family by professionally installing a high-quality security film on your vehicle's windows.
When going to the shopping center, remove anything you don't need right now from your car. You'll get better gas mileage anyway. Then when you arrive at your destination, hide anything of value in the trunk before you get to your destination if possible, because many times the crooks are already on the lookout for you, hiding your goodies, so they know right where to steal them from. Thieves can easily blend in and cruise around the parking lots of big box stores without attracting anyone's attention due to the amount of cars and people there. Thieves will often hang out in the areas of big box stores that sell big ticket items so they can follow the purchaser out to their car where they are robbed. This is what may be called a shopping list. Drug dealers may give a shopping list to another thief who goes to the big box stores to fill their order. Sometimes they'll strike up a conversation with you inside the store so they can get closer to you in the parking lot without you becoming alarmed until it's too late. Big box stores watch the inside of their stores for shoplifting. Sometimes they don't even have cameras out on their parking lot, and when they do, they fix them last, not first. Many big box store employees have admitted they watch for shoplifters, not the parking lot. So even if the store has working parking lot cameras, they are seldom monitored. The sad fact is, big box stores get to sell you the same stuff over and over again if it ends up being stolen after you leave their store, so they actually make more money if you're a victim of crime. This is why big box store executives have admitted shredding their crime records instead of putting rewards out on the thieves that make a living cruising their parking lots. After leaving the big box store, you may need to drop by your local chain convenience store. At this time of the year, because the major chain convenience store clerks are instructed to just give the money to the robbers with no resistance, robbers are robbing larger chain convenience stores at record-breaking rates. If you are approached at a big box store, the mall, or the convenience store by someone demanding you get in your car, throw your keys in one direction and run in the other. If the gunman does get you inside your car and tells you to drive, do not drive away if you can avoid it in any way. The penalties for kidnapping and carjacking are so severe the carjacker almost never allows the carjacking or kidnapping victim to live long enough to identify them. In other words, when you're fighting for your life at a public place, you have about a 90% chance of the carjacker running off to escape being arrested. Unfortunately, once they get you alone, especially if you're a female, you have almost no chance of staying alive once you leave the parking lot. Even in a worst-case scenario where you do end up getting shot or stabbed at a big box store, mall, or convenience store, medical personnel tend to be very close by convenience and big box stores, unlike the middle of nowhere that carjackers tend to take their victims. Here's how to take the gun from the carjacker in case you're their next victim.
Did you ever get a gun pulled on you?
I have, and that's basically why I have this to show you what might happen if you do get a gun pulled on you.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Okay. So
there's a few moves that you can learn.
Okay.
All right. Now, if somebody does,
I can break my arm. First off, question
no,
for me.
You'll be all right. You'll survive.
Promise?
Yes,
all right.
absolutely. You're in good hands.
All right. As you can tell, I'm very comfortable with carrying a gun.
Now, if somebody does have a gun on you, you want to put your hands up first.
This is a Glock.
Make sure that close enough. Make sure that they think you're submitting, and also your hand is closer to the gun.
Okay.
Now you don't want to go like that.
So you're dead. Bang. Dead.
Yeah. So basically, you say.
Can we make sure no one tackled me thinking I'm going to fall up here? All right.
You see the film, guys. I think you'll be all right. So please don't shoot. Grab the gun like this. Punch,
all right,
punch,
I'm dead. All right.
And then twist.
Okay.
Now, if your
Wait,
finger's
my
on the
hand's
trigger
still in
guard,
it.
yeah. Twist.
Okay.
Lock the finger in the trigger guard. You can break the finger, or you can push in, shoot the guy, pull out. Okay.
All right.
One basic technique. You want to learn another one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Ready? Hold it. Now, we did that one.
Oh, okay.
So here's another one. Now, what would you do if you were like this?
Cry.
Cry? Okay. That's good. Now,
You want me to do?
yeah, go ahead. So just choke me and put the gun in my head. Perfect.
I'm
All right.
joking. Is this going to involve me on the ground?
No.
Okay, cool.
I'll let you, yeah.
Mime. All right.
Okay.
Camino
So,
del Arte. All right.
number one, you're going to go like that.
Okay.
Okay. Number two, you're going to grab the gun.
So
okay?
grabbing the gun's not dangerous. Say I shot it now. Would it burn your hand?
Now, that's the interesting thing. You have one bullet in there because you got a bullet in the chamber, but I'm holding the slider, okay? So one bullet can go off, but I'm holding the slider so it's not going to reload.
Oh, cool.
Okay, is that nice? All right, so from here you can do an arm break, right?
Okay.
So basically what you want to do is just elbow the liver.
And then it makes
hold
like
the
a...
gun. So yeah, like you're fighting for your life. Okay, good. And so bam, 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 right? Like that. Then from here you twist the gun this way.
Okay.
And then you got that finger lock again.
And now I'm dead again.
Yeah.
And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
Does a Crime Reports and Rewards special investigation reveal Eric Garner was killed because sheriffs are being dictated to by lawyers working for tax wasters to collect taxes and eliminate access to legal and health services? We, like the Founding Fathers, are being taxed to death and being criminalized by tax wasters who are making things like selling loose cigarettes, typing a letter, typesetting at printing companies, working as a secretary, or even suggesting you plead not guilty a crime. Now one man, Eric Garner, is dead. Our Founding Fathers were so sick of the tea tax and the King of England's constant interference in their everyday lives that they dumped tea into the sea, which was a big deal to all those British Americans back then. Yet that same kind of stranglehold is what killed 43-year-old Eric Garner. A lot of Americans want to make his death into a race thing. However, it's clear that it's an access to the American dream thing. Tax wasters sicked the police on Eric Garner because tax wasters wanted every penny of taxable revenue from his sales of loose cigarettes, an act which cost Eric Garner his life. Lawyers who write the laws that create the taxes and set Americans at each other's throats hide behind the mask of government and attack your wallet and freedom from every angle to exact the last drop of blood and freedom they can to support their buying of votes and forming of cartels to protect their tax-wasting lifestyles. In a recent release on ExxonMobil's earnings, we saw they only earned about 5.5 cents for every gallon of gasoline and other petroleum products sold in the United States. But tax wasters in state and local governments collected 40 to 60 cents per gallon in taxes. The federal gasoline tax is the same from coast to coast. It had been 18.4 cents a gallon, which may be higher by the time this goes to air, which means any variations have been implemented by state and local governments. Several states are now headed to crossing the 70 cent per gallon threshold. Here's what happened in January 1st, 2014 to your taxes, not to mention you're being cut off from access to legal and health care. Top income brackets went from 35% to 39.6%. Top income payroll tax went from 37.4% to 52.2%. Capital gains taxes went from 15 to 28%. Dividend taxes went from 15% to 39.6%. Total taxes paid by some citizens in 2005 was 53.2%. Total taxes paid by some U.S. citizens in 2013 was 58.5%. We're not saying we don't want to pay taxes. Actually, we would love to pay taxes to be able to make more money in ways that we know we can make more money. But that would break the yoke of control government is trying to force down our throats. And this is what we object to. All these new taxes and all these stripping of rights and all these criminalizing of the citizen do not include the board unauthorized practice of law who is engaged in a witch hunt and power grab to obliterate citizens' rights by obliterating probable cause. Probable cause is the way most attorneys win cases. Probable cause is the way doctors do most of their diagnoses. Cause is being eliminated in favor of tax user legislation. In other words, if they say it's wrong, even if it's not the cause, they're right because of the centralization of power to a smaller and smaller group of people who have total and complete life and death stranglehold power over more and more people, which is exactly what our Constitution, Bill of Rights, and everything America stands for is against. If they can strip you of your right to legal and medical access, they can silence any objection you have to being taxed to death. Now you're simply typing certain legal documents may be ruled as the unauthorized practice of law. The unauthorized practice of law used to be a non-attorney walking into a court of law and telling a judge he's an attorney. Now, tax wasters are using unauthorized practice of law statutes to make almost every aspect of your life a criminal offense. Unauthorized practice of law charges are even being levied against lawyers who send a letter into a jurisdiction where they're not licensed. But recently, tax wasters have used these laws as a weapon to protect monopolies on access to legal and health services. This is bad news for the general public and is yet another form of hidden taxation without representation. Or they're criminalizing the citizen. Everyone now knows Obamacare was passed into law fraudulently and is criminalizing the citizen. Pre-printed legal forms like rental agreements and power of attorneys sold in Office Depots around the country, and access to your own medical records without going through a tax waster crony is being outlawed. A major problem with unlicensed practice of law statutes is underscored by the fact that the legal profession has had an infamously difficult time defining what the practice of law is. In short, it varies from state to state and changes with the times. Too often, the definitions center on what citizens can't do instead of what lawyers and doctors can. Tax wasters tell us their primary concern is to protect and serve the public. Now our highways are being blocked. Our international enemies are using this to undermine the U.S. government. And Eric Garner's gasping for air and clearly saying, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe." Does he look like he or anyone else is being protected or served? If tax wasters weren't forcing cops to be filthy lucre collectors for everyone from lawyer cartel protection rackets to keeping drug prices at all-time highs for the FDA, they might have more time to chase real bad guys that are axe-murdering females than drowning them in running bathtubs to cover up the rape evidence. Your lawmakers hold their reins. When your lawmakers make bad law, this is the result. Call your lawmakers and tell them to call off the dogs of war before it's too late. In other words, if there's no victim, then there is no need to sick our Leos on them. This will dramatically impact violent, mean, and nasty bad guys who are hiding behind the shortage of good cops, too busy with non-victim crime to stop the worst of society's offenders.
And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
A recent decision by police in Buffalo, New York to start confiscating firearms belonging to the recently deceased has sparked yet another national debate on gun confiscation. The problem seems to be that they are only confiscating guns from law-abiding citizens. There is no mechanism in place to systematically confiscate guns from known criminals. If the idea of police rummaging you through your deceased loved one's home while you're still in mourning strikes you as a tad unsettling and authoritarian, you're not alone. If a police officer came to my door without a warrant signed by a judge, I'm not giving them anything, Buffalo defense attorney Dominic Siracano told Fox News. Most people don't know that and get intimidated. The following is what happens when the state demands to know what you keep in your home. Here's what happened in the past when gun registration led to gun confiscation. In 1911, Turkey established gun control from 1915 to 1917. 1.5 million Armenians, unable to defend themselves against their ethnic cleansing government, were arrested and exterminated. In 1929, the former Soviet Union established gun control as a means of controlling the more difficult of their citizens. From 1929 to the death of Stalin, 40 million Soviets met an untimely end at the hands of various governmental agencies as they were arrested and exterminated. After the rise of the Nazis, Germany established their version of gun control in 1938. And from 1939 to 1945, 13 million Jews, gypsies, homosexuals, the mentally ill, and others who were unable to defend themselves against the brown shirts were arrested and exterminated. Interestingly, the brown shirts were eventually targeted for extermination themselves following their blind acts of allegiance to Hitler and their government. Any American military and police would be wise to grasp the historical significance of the brown shirts' extermination. After Communist China established gun control in 1935, an estimated 50 million political dissidents, those who exercised their right to free speech, unable to defend themselves against their fascist leaders, were arrested and exterminated. Closer to home, Guatemala established gun control in 1964. From 1964 to 1981, 100,000 Mayans, unable to defend themselves against their ruthless government, were arrested and exterminated. Uganda established gun control in 1970. From 1971 to 1979, 300,000 Christians, unable to defend themselves from their government, were arrested and exterminated. In Cambodia, they established gun control in 1956. From 1975 to 1977, 1 million of their most educated people, unable to defend themselves against their tax-wasting government, were arrested and exterminated. And finally, in 1994, Rwanda disarmed the Tutsi people, and being unable to defend themselves from their tax-wasting government, nearly 1 million were summarily executed. They weren't even taken into custody very long. They were just killed on the spot. Some just killed right there in their homes. The Rwandan government came to their home when they knew that they had a gun, because they were told to register their gun or they were suspected of having a gun, and simply shot them dead in their own homes. They did not even bother to arrest them. The total number of victims who lost their lives because of gun control is approximately 70 million people that we know of in the 20th century. If you'd like to put your input on this opinion one way or another, go to our Facebook page and search for AugustaCrimeStoppers.org and let us know what you think.
Now for an update on the Hester Jackson murder, Richmond County Sheriff's Office Lieutenant Blaze Dresser called a press conference on the 2700 block of Willis Foreman Road to announce a cash reward of up to $9,000 for the arrest and conviction of those responsible for the murder of 56-year-old Hester Jackson. Police are still searching for the shooter or shooters responsible for killing Mr. Jackson as he arrived home on Willis Foreman Road. Those who knew him say Jackson was a quiet gentleman who kept to himself and recently married a woman from North Carolina. AugustaCrimeStoppers.org has added another $1,000 reward payable upon the arrest of the shooters, so any witnesses that may come forth will have cash now and later should a conviction occur, bringing the total amount of the reward in the Hester Jackson case to up to $10,000. Okay, you guys are offering $9,000. We just added another $1,000 to it for Augusta Crime Stoppers. So now you can tell people that the reward is up to $10,000 total. Okay? Is there anything y'all would like to tell the whole world? Who do you think did this? Just what do you think? Who, what, where, any clues?
If you have any information about the Hester Jackson murder as he arrived at his home on Willis Foreman Road, please call Lieutenant Blaze Dresser or Investigator Calvin Chu at 706-821-1020 or AugustaCrimeStoppers.org at 706-722-1010, where you'll always remain anonymous and get a cash reward.
You've been watching Crime Reports and Rewards with Griff Griffin and Dave Michaels, where you stay anonymous. The criminals don't. If you have any information on these or any other crimes, call our national tip line at 1-800-222-TIPS. Well, you'll stay anonymous and could get a cash reward. You can see this or any other episode of Crime Reports and Rewards on the web anytime at crimereportsandrewards.com. Crime Reports and Rewards is a production of Michaels Media.